So hello and welcome everybody. We are super excited to have Beth with us here today. Beth is working with so many different clients and has experienced a lot of success in her world and in the work she's doing with clients. And she supports people in terms of weight, and that also often encompasses nutrition and exercise. So we're excited to hear from her and the insights she has to share with all of you. Several of you did submit questions ahead of time, and we're looking for more questions all the way through. In terms of access to this afterwards, you're gonna have a couple things going on. Of course, we'll put it on the YouTube channel, so you'll have access to it there. And in addition to that, you're gonna have access to Beth's contact information, so you can reach out to her as well. Beth, I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share, welcome you and invite you to get your PowerPoint up and go ahead and take over. So thank you and welcome, Beth.
Hi, I'm Beth Donovan. I'm a certified master coach, and I'm also, my specialty is health coaching. The reason I started health coaching was I began a journey in about 2006. I weighed 460 pounds, and I decided I wanted to improve my life and my health, and I started changing my lifestyle. And several years later, I had lost about 230 pounds. I'm now about 220 pounds. Here in 2019, closer to my goal weight, or 2020, I forgot what year it is. Shows how nervous I am. But anyway, I'm very much into setting new health goals and new lifestyles, and I help other people do the same thing. It's kind of become my passion, so I wanted to help other people become health coaches or find out a little bit about that world so that they could decide if that's what's right for them.
Awesome. So we'd love to see your PowerPoint, Beth. It's not up for us yet.
This is what my transformation looks like.
Hey,
this is where
Beth, we're not seeing your PowerPoint. If you could
it's not
do,
showing?
Yeah, if you could do the share screen button on the bottom.
Okay, let me see.
Thank you.
I thought I had done that. Let me go back up. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty, everyone.
That's okay. You might have to close out your slideshow part of it.
That's what I'm trying to do, but it doesn't want to close out. I'm going to click End Show for it and go over to here and click that. Did that work?
If you, at the bottom of the Zoom, please click Share Screen.
At the bottom of the Zoom screen, click. Okay, I think I must have done something wrong here. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty, guys.
If you want, I can bring up the one you sent to me.
I'm trying to get the Zoom screen to come up again. Okay, there it is.
Okay, good. So share screen. Great. Now start your slideshow. Awesome. Thank you, Beth.
There we go.
And, yes. And you know what? Everybody there is saying, oh my gosh, so glad other people make mistakes too. So it's a good thing. So awesome series of pictures in terms of your transformation. So it's amazing. And go ahead, Beth, dive back in.
Back when I started, I basically was bedridden and wheelchair bound, and I made my way from lifting shampoo bottles in bed to a walker to a cane, and now I can walk again. So it was quite the journey. And how is health coaching different than health consulting, health training, or therapy? Does anybody know?
So Beth, the one answer that we've gotten in is that coaching helps you find the answers within yourself. Another is therapy is about the past, coaching is going forward. And then another one, you assist clients with making their own decisions about a plan.
That's very true. We've got some smart coaches here. The defining roles are that therapy is assessment, diagnosis, and therapeutic methodology. Training is teaching specific content. Consulting is an advisory role. Coaching empowers the client. How many of you have gotten these roles confused in the past?
I'm guessing a lot of us make that mistake. We start out in coaching, coming to it from the idea of, oh, I'm going to help them out, and that means telling people, and we don't realize the power of really staying in that coaching mode. So
sometimes we provide more than one service to people. And so if you do provide more than one service to people, try to schedule each session separately in this order. Therapy first, to become whole. Training second, to provide content. Consulting on how to use the content third. And coaching to progress in development fourth. Do we have any questions?
I think this is a fascinating conversation for people, simply because the awareness of there is a time and a place for each of the types of services, and the progression is so important. So right now, I think everybody's good, Beth, and you're good to go ahead.
Okay. What's the significance of making the client the expert?
That's an awesome question. Let's hear some responses, everybody. Give us something in the chat box or in the question and answer box. So one of the answers that came in is they feel empowered to make the change. Another one is the client is the only one who can change themselves. They have the power to become independent. It's about them, not us. The client knows themselves the best. They take the ownership, self-empowerment. The client will buy in and be more likely to take action. They get to be authentic. So lots of great answers there. Thank you, everyone.
Those are absolutely fantastic answers, and I couldn't have possibly come up with enough answers for this question. So I just listed a few examples of clients know what works best for them. Clients respond positively to making their own choices. Clients know what has and has not worked for them, and clients know their medical history and guidelines. Does anybody have any questions about this? Or comments even?
Yeah, no, I think you're good to go, Beth.
How can a coach show they value client views and diversity? This is becoming something very important with the ICF, with the new ethics and the new code of ethics.
Yeah, and the new competency model.
Yes, the new competency model. I was trying to think of the word and I couldn't think of it.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And there's so much work in terms of really valuing the client. So yeah, all right, we're ready for your tips, Beth. How can a coach show that?
Be present. Listen, watch, and respect. If you listen to what they're saying, really involve yourself in their conversation. Watch for any cues that they might give you, and respect what they tell you. You're going to be assured of respecting their values and their diversity. Being present kind of covers all of it.
Yeah, and we talked about listening, and so many have heard me say that the irony of listening is most of us think we're pretty good listeners, and at the same time, most people think others are not so good at listening. And so it's okay, really, really listening. And we go into coach training and we say, wow, there's so much more here because it's cumulative, because it's listening for their context, it's listening for their language, it's listening to understand their intention, and what it means for them versus how we're interpreting it. And so that's such a powerful statement right there.
What coaching skills show curiosity and acknowledge a shift in mood or energy? Do you guys have any suggestions? Or what suggestions do you guys have, I should say? I should have Kathy with the ruler on the hand.
That's funny. Good catch.
The suggestions I came up with, what you're saying is blank, which is reflective listening. A few sessions ago, you mentioned blank. How do you feel about that today, which is cumulative listening, which Kathy just mentioned. And when you said blank, your energy shifted. What's behind that? The who of coaching, which is in your PCC markers. What other suggestions do you have to show curiosity and acknowledge a mood shift of energy?
We're looking for examples of things you say with a client. Got radio silence out there, Beth. Go ahead. Keep going.
You know, and another thing you want to remember is you're using your expertise to empower them with your questioning. You're using powerful questions to help form the framework for them.
So now we're getting a few examples in here. Oh, this is awesome. These are really good. So the tell me more. Another one is, I'm hearing you say blank, whatever it is. Tell me more about that. How are you feeling about this session? Another example is, you seem hesitant. Please elaborate. Or another, what are you learning about this session? Another good one, noticing body language and naming that for the client. So saying, I noticed that you just, whatever they did, I heard you, tell me about that. And then another one came in, what I heard you say is, and quite simply repeating what was said. So lots of good examples. Thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you. How can a coach support client success?
So let's get more tips on that one. And Beth, while they're thinking and typing those in, if you want to give some of the things you came up with, and then we'll get more from the group.
Do use positive, short, simple questions. Do listen for the VAK and meta models. Do use phenomenal words and ask what else.
Awesome. We've got another one, follow up and celebrate. Ask the client how they want support. So those are some good ones.
Very good.
Encouraging language and positivity, acknowledging their successes, small or big. Yeah, awesome. And inviting them to acknowledge their own successes.
I do have clients sometimes that will not acknowledge their own successes. They won't reward themselves, nothing. And sometimes those clients that do not acknowledge their own successes and refuse to celebrate are the least successful clients. They tend to backtrack after they've succeeded.
Isn't that amazing? Now, what can a coach do, Beth, to really support the client acknowledging their successes?
I might go a little bit above and beyond, but I've been known to buy inexpensive bracelets with like their mantra word, you know, like strong or something like that for them and send it to them. You know, just something inexpensive, but to remind them of what their mantra word is or something like that, to celebrate maybe losing their, or to getting closer to their goal weight, or getting closer to their strength training, or getting closer to that 5K walk that they want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, excellent, excellent. So, Beth, love to hear a story from you, just describing what you do with the client. So, imagine for a minute, I'm looking for a coach and I really want to work on my weight and my exercise and my nutrition. What are some things you'll do with me as a new client?
Well, I would ask you more questions about what you've tried in the past, just so that I can get an idea of where you want to go in the future. Because I think sometimes, I know we're not supposed to coach from the past, but I do a little bit of consulting, and it helps me know, helps them also say, this doesn't work for me. Then I say, where do you want to go from there? And they tell me, well, I want to reach, let's say, I have one client right now who told me that she wants to reach this specific goal weight. And I asked her, what does that goal weight mean for her? And she told me that this specific goal weight means for her that she's going to be strong. People are going to compliment her. She's going to be able to wear specific clothes. She's going to feel a specific way at her job, and people are going to be more friendly to her. So we wrote her affirmation story, and that was very powerful for her. And she started writing more in her journal after that, because she found out that the words were very powerful for her. And that was an immediate breakthrough for her. And we talked some about the different foods that she enjoys eating, and the things that she wanted to continue to eat, the things that she did not want to continue to eat. I said, but what do you want to continue to eat? You know, I tried to keep saying, let's add things in that are healthy. You know, because she was starting to focus on let's diet and take things away, and I kept trying to refocus her on let's add things in, and you know, focus on healthy. So, you know, trying to get that mindset switch from, you know, let's take a whole food group out and, you know, starve ourselves or fast, or, you know, go from this mindset of deprivation to a mindset of building a healthy lifestyle. One example I give my clients is, if you're building a lifestyle, building in itself means adding material to something. if you're destroying something, it means taking the material and blowing it away and leaving a hole. So if you're dieting, you're usually taking things away and leaving a hole. So you're going to end up going back and trying to fill that hole up. If you're adding things in and building a healthy lifestyle, you're building something and you're not having that hole that you have to go back and fill.
That's an awesome analogy of building. Another thing I remember you sharing that I thought was such a great insight, Beth, you talked about exercise snacks. Share that one with us, because that's a great
A lot of my clients do not like to exercise, and I've got to admit I don't like to exercise either, but the concept of exercise snacks really fascinated me. Food snacks are those little things you eat during the day and you think, oh, this isn't going to count, it's just so small, or a bite, lick, or a taste, it's just going to be so small. But by the end of the day, you know, you've eaten a couple hundred calories and it really adds up. Exercise snacks are the same way. You burn up a few calories here and there, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes here or there, and it takes 5 to 15 minutes. By the end of the day, you've burned up a couple hundred calories. So I exercise snack through the day instead of food snack through the day now.
That is such a cool concept. I love that one. Several people asked about how you developed your business, because you've had lots of success in terms of expanding your reach, getting yourself out there on social media, and building your client base. And so there are other coaches on the call that are really interested in what tips you have for them that were successful in building your client base.
It started very organically. I started losing weight using a website where I could just track my food for free, and I could track my exercise snacks for free. And I started blogging on my website, and I've kept the blog for years and years and years. And eventually I spoke at a convention for that website, and I started doing group coaching after that, and you know, just to help people out. I didn't know I was really coaching at the time, and I wasn't, because I wasn't a certified professional coach. I just didn't know that. You know, I thought, oh, if I'm helping people, I'm coaching. Wrong. No. And I started just kind of collecting people following me after that. I have over 11,000 followers on one website, and I have different social media that I go to where I'm just very real and very open with people about the struggles I have, how I overcome them. It has nothing to do with fancy marketing. It has absolutely nothing to do with strategy. It has to do with being me and being honest and straight in my heart. It's like writing a love letter to your client almost. It's very intimate and very soul-bearing.
That is awesome. It's I think there's tremendous power in what you're saying, that willingness to put yourself out, share your own vulnerabilities, your own challenges and struggles, because then people, oh, okay, she's like me, and they can be comfortable with that. So that's phenomenal. I'm really curious from all of you, when Beth shared what was working and the number of followers she has now as a result of that. What occurs to you? What's your thought? What's your insight? What's going on for you when you hear that? So I'm looking for input on that one in the chat box. That's awesome.
That following is just on one website.
Yeah, that's great. So we got one comment in, and this is right on. Being vulnerable makes you authentic. And It's funny, it's pretty tough to connect with somebody who's perfect, right? So
It is.
this is good. So some of the additional comments, people want to know someone else is struggling like them. And they said, thank you for sharing your struggles. People want authenticity so they can also be authentic. I think being real is awesome and relatable. So those are great. Excellent, excellent. Thank you for sharing that.
Well, my next slide is just offering some more do's. Offer up some options, including brainstorming and resource exploration. That's something I like to do with my clients. It really helps them when they're in on the decision making themselves. And sometimes you have to offer up, to brainstorm with them, and you might even have to throw out the first idea to get them going, and then say, and now you. Because they'll be hesitant and look at you like, okay, you're going to go next again, right? And then co-create a list of choices. Use your expertise to inform your questions.
You say that, Beth, that's a tough one for people. Use your expertise to inform your questions. Let's invite some examples on that one. Who's got an example for how you use your expertise to inform a question you ask your client? Let's see what we get there. In the meantime, in response to the last question, we got a couple more answers that came in. Somebody said, I think being real is awesome and relatable. And somebody else said, being authentic builds trust. So those are some great insights on that one. All right, everyone, how do you use your expertise to inform your questions? If I can get that started, Beth, I think of an obvious one. In Coach Trinity, we talk about somebody says, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds. Well, that's not a goal. That's talking about what they don't want to have and what they're trying to get rid of. And so the way you're using your expertise to inform your question is you're saying, okay, and after you lose that weight, how much will you weigh? What size or weight do you want to be? And that's one very, very simplistic example. There's many, many more. So I'm hoping we're going to start getting a few in the chat box on that.
Right. It was like what I was saying with the building and the destroying. Trying to keep them from staying in that mindset of, I want to deprive, I want to lose, I want to stay away from, I want to avoid, and trying to get them moving forward and towards. It's like the example you give us in CPC class of the car moving out in front of the person rather than following them.
Yeah, yeah. So here's one good one that came in. This person is a parenting coach. And so they ask, how do you envision your family functioning? So that's a great one. If I keep playing with it, so Beth, your area of health coaching, primarily working with people on weight, I'm imagining if somebody says to me, yeah, I just love chocolate cake and chocolate ice cream, using expertise to inform the question is going to be along the line of absolutely delicious, and what are the pros and cons of eating that? So that instead of me telling them the cons,
right,
it's inviting them to figure it out. So, and let's see, our parenting coach
something I often ask them are, how many bites would it take to satisfy the flavor and give you maximum enjoyment?
Oh, fascinating. To get them to, yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes just the flavor and the maximum enjoyment are maybe 3-4 bites, and then they're done with the maximum enjoyment that they can possibly have out of that piece of cake.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Let's see, here's some more questions. What kind of relationship do you want with your kids? Somebody is a leadership development coach. They ask what being a leader means to them. Someone else said how they ask them how they want to show up. In this case, as a leader, and it can be in any of those areas. The challenge, of course, and there's a couple of comments in here, is other people around you and what they say or think based on who you are. And of course, if whoever I am, whether it's a weight concern or something else, can I control what somebody else thinks or wants? And then ultimately, where do I have to have ownership in terms of my own choices? So whether or not somebody else likes or accepts what I'm doing, I've got to make my own choices. And that can be a challenging one. So Beth, do you have some insight working with a client who is moving toward their goal weight and then experiencing some pushback or challenge from people around them?
I have personal experience in that. My husband and my friend were very unaccepting of my wanting to change in the way that I wanted to change. They wanted me to have bariatric surgery or weight loss surgery. I did not want that for myself. They said, oh, it's going to save your life. And I said, I want to save my own life. And, you know, I want to change in this particular way. Well, they wanted to take that choice away from me and make it for myself or make it for me. And I was like, no. And, you know, I guess they had seen me fail enough times that they thought I couldn't make that choice responsibly. Well, I got a lot of pushback from them when I decided not to have weight loss surgery. And there was a period of silence. There was all sorts of fights. And I just had to hold my own and be my own supporter for a long time, you know, in doing what I wanted to do in order to succeed. And sometimes you just have to count on yourself and your higher power and, you know, do what you need to do.
Yeah, that's so impressive. To have that kind of strength is really cool. Nice.
I often have clients who have that, you know, that sort of issue where they might have saboteurs in their lives push back, you know, things like that happening. And you know, you have to ask them, well, what can they do in their life to empower themselves? You know, it's not about the other person, it's about them.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Those are great insights and examples. So thank you for them.
And then what are some important legal considerations to health coaching?
So what are your thoughts on this one, everybody? What are you wondering about or worried about or fearful of in terms of health coaching when you're working with clients? So let's get a few thoughts or concerns in that chat box.
And one thing I do is I inform the client that they have the right and duty to review all their choices with their medical team. That helps them realize that they're in on this too. It's not just me, it's them.
Yeah, the ownership of it. That seems like a really smart clause to have in a coaching agreement if you're doing health coaching.
Yes, it is. It's in my coaching agreement for sure.
Yeah, excellent. So somebody's asking or made the note of liability being a question. Somebody else said you may not give them advice contrary to their medical practitioner's advice. It's like, yeah, as a coach, we don't give advice for that. If you're in one of the other roles, that can be a real liability. Coaching agreements should set the boundaries in a clear way so that legal issues do not arise. That's a good point. Do you have to have insurance paperwork changed? I guess I got to know more. So in coaching, we talk about liability insurance. So give us more on that one.
Well, I kind of defined their medical team on the next page, but you know, a medical team includes doctors, specialists, therapists, and other professionals. But then I got to consider professional liability insurance. It protects yourself against client claims that include bad advice. Now, as coaches, we know we're not giving bad advice, but they don't know that. They think sometimes when they come up with an idea that we came up with the idea. You know, and they might think, well, my coach told me to not eat carbohydrates for the next year and to stop eating, you know, this or that. And they were the ones who came up with the idea. Or because, you know, they exercised for 10 hours one day, that was your idea. And you have to protect yourself against that.
Yeah, you know, one thing that's so interesting about the liability insurance, I know that when I went to take mine out, I was asked if I was a member of the ICF, and the price for the professional liability was less if I was a member of the ICF. And I think it goes back to, because there's the code of ethics and there's the standards, and so the risk is lower when they know you have that in place. Yeah.
I was asked the same thing and my price dropped dramatically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you said, Beth, we don't give advice, good, better, and different. So having that clause in there is a great idea.
And they, you know, the clients can think we do, which is why you need the insurance, you know, if they think you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what are, oh, good.
I was just going to say, what are your takeaways and questions?
All right, so we're going to open this up to everybody. And at this point, if somebody wants to come in live and ask questions, have a conversation, that kind of thing, if you let me know, we can set it up so that you can talk. We do, I just got to know that you want to talk and we can open that up. So let us know on that. You can do that in the chat box to say, yeah, unmute me, and we can do that. And in the meantime, if for everybody else, love to hear your comments. So takeaways you have and then questions. So to get that started, Beth, here's a what if situation. Someone does not see the results they expected and they want a refund from you, or worse, attempts to sue you, and she's guessing some contract language may cover this.
I spell out in my coaching contract or coaching agreement that there are no refunds and why. Number one, I have listed that it helps them stick to their program, and two, that they can't refund my time that I have spent. And there are other clauses in my coaching contract that explain that they have to have full participation in their coaching. So if they're not giving, you know, full participation in their coaching, the fact that they can't refund my time, which I've already spent on them, they're not going to keep coming for sessions, which that's happened. I've had people spend thousands of dollars for a year worth of coaching and come to 4 sessions and not come back. And I've called them to say, can we put your program on hold? Can we do this? Can we do that? I've never heard hide nor hair of them again. I mean, it was free money, and not that I didn't try to contact them. I've never had anybody try to sue me. Usually if it's in your coaching agreement and you go over the agreement with them, you know, thoroughly, they're very compliant.
it seems like it's so crucial on the front end to make it clear, because I can't make the eating choices or the exercise choices for them. And the follow through, they've got to own that.
Yeah, I do have that in the contract too, in another clause, you know, the client is responsible for their own choices, because, you know, I do some life coaching too. And so I can't say just for their eating, for their wellness, for their, you know, I just say for their own choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's a couple more questions that have come in that are really good. Here's one. In your opinion, what is the best way to keep individuals motivated when they don't see results as soon as they want them?
I think the best way to keep them motivated is to keep their why in front of them. Why do you want this? And keep their vision in front of them, like with their affirmation statement. Keep them picturing themselves at their goal, doing whatever it is they set out to do. Like if they want to do a 5K, picture themselves walking the finish line of the 5K, seeing how proud their family is of them, you know, receiving the participating medal or the winning medal, whichever they're trying to achieve. If they're trying to reach a weight goal, seeing themselves at that weight, ask what they're doing at that weight, where are they, what are they feeling, what are they wearing, you know, ask about their surroundings, what are they seeing, you know, get very deep with them.
Yeah. Nice. Another person asked, how long did it take for you to get paid clients from your website or followers of your blog?
I'm embarrassed. It took me one day. I announced it and I was there.
That is so cool. That is so cool. Somebody else asked the question, what are opportunities for health coaches in medical or insurance industries? And I'm going to say huge. There are so many insurance companies and healthcare providers that now employ literally thousands of health coaches. I think the caveat, the catch to it is how they define coaching, because some of them are really coaching and some of them are actually just giving advice and calling it coaching. And as soon as somebody's telling somebody or giving advice or suggesting, then all of a sudden they're taking on a whole different role. And that's them being the expert, which is not coaching. And then, yeah, then there's much more risk involved in terms of if somebody doesn't like what you suggest, that's on you. So staying true to the coaching model is important unless you really are an expert in one of those other areas. So what do you want to add to that thought, Beth, in terms of health coaching versus, you know, some of what's going on out there with different types of coaching?
I think that health coaching, I think, you know, when I've had health coaches from health coaching, like insurance companies or things like that, because, you know, they give you a discount if you get health coaching. It always amazes me how they're not really coaches, because they'll tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that, and I'm thinking, I'm a health coach and I know you're not supposed to do that. You know, it's like, I want to correct them, and I'm sitting there editing their conversation the whole time they're talking to me. You know, and I already know what they're telling me, but I'm just doing it for the insurance discount. But I know there are a lot of insurance companies and things like that that have these programs. There are a lot of doctors' offices that have these programs where you can be a health coach, and there are some silly shake programs where you can be a health coach, but you're not really a coach. You can just sell shakes and say you're a coach. But to be a real health coach, I think you're going to have to really pay attention to what Kathy tells you and what the ICF tells you. And study hard.
Oh. So another question came in, does the ICF have additional requirements for health coaches? My understanding of what the ICF has is it's consistent across all types of coaching. So
that's what I understand.
Yeah. Good.
I understand that your specialty is your own and coaching is coaching.
Mm-hmm. Oh, excellent. So Beth, what additional tips do you have for some of the others on the call that are moving into or in this space of doing health coaching?
I think if you're trying to build your business in health coaching, being vulnerable and being authentic is crucial. Don't try to market, quote unquote, to a certain demographic and put out so many posts a day and blog this way, and just be yourself and find places that interest you to be yourself, and you'll find clients. I think if you're talking health coaching, wanting to be a health coach, what's going to help you is find a specific niche in health coaching that interests you specifically. Like, are you more interested in people who are diabetics with high blood pressure, metabolic syndrome, general health coaching, weight coaching? There are so many dynamics to health coaching that everybody can even have a more specific niche than health coaching itself.
Health coaching actually isn't even a niche, right?
Right. I mean, you can get so specific, so narrowed down, and so many people have so many health needs that there are so many specifics that you can drill down past health coaching, because if you look on the internet, there are 1.2 million health coaches out there. What sets them apart? Your authenticity, your personality, your story, something more specific that you offer that a general health coaching person doesn't offer. The fact that you're with the ICF is going to set you apart from, the people that get the $25 I'm a health coach certificate.
Nice. So here's an interesting question. Somebody is asking about working out with their client for their coaching session. And here's what I love. They went on to expand on this. Meeting with members at the walking track and conducting the coaching session while they walk as an approach. And Beth, my reaction to that is it's the line between, are you a personal trainer versus are you simply getting out? I know a lot of executive coaches that go for a walk with their clients simply because being out and walking increases thinking and creativity and that kind of thing. So it seems like something like that's this great idea in terms of go for a walk with your client and have the conversation while you're walking. That can work as long as it's that versus you being their trainer and that kind of thing. So what are your thoughts on that?
I've done that. I've gone for walks. I don't give instructions on walking. I've done yoga with clients. I have done walking on treadmills with clients, but I don't instruct. I don't give any direction whatsoever. But if you want to pay me to go work out with you and it's your idea and you want to have a conversation while we do this, that's fine, but I'm not going to give you any instructions.
Good. And then we have a question about supplements. What are your thoughts, comments, ideas there, Beth?
You can't give advice on supplements is my thought, because that's going to come into form of diagnosis and medication type of thing. If you're looking at supplements, you're basically going to be saying something like this vitamin or this herbal supplement, even though you suspect it's good for, let's say, high blood pressure, or you might know it in your mind that it's good for this or good for that. Telling the client that it's good for this or good for that, you don't know if it's going to mess up with their medication, their metabolism, their body have an allergic reaction. There are so many concerns that it isn't even funny. So it's just best not to go there. And it is a diagnosis and a methodology that is more along the lines of medical than it is coaching.
Yeah, so that definitely seems like one where you can explore it. Okay, what are the possibilities? What do you know about it? What do you want to know about it? And which of the people on your medical team are you checking with and when before you started?
Mm-hmm. You can always suggest that if they want to Google whatever they want to Google on their own time, that's fine, but you can't suggest anything. You know, that they're free to do research and brainstorm options for their research or something like that. But, you know, offer options for their research. Don't offer the supplement itself.
Nice. Good, good. Okay, so I think we are caught up on the questions that I've seen thus far, Beth. Additional thoughts you want to share with everyone? Something I want to throw out there is I think some of the big takeaways out of today's conversation. Number one, very, very significant, be authentic and be vulnerable. Putting yourself out there really opens the door for people coming to you. Number two, be really clear that it is the client's responsibility to make their own decisions. It's their responsibility to do their own research. It's their responsibility to check with their medical team, and having a clause in their agreement that, in your coaching agreement with them, that refers to that specifically. They have the right and the duty to review all their choices with their medical team. That seems like a really smart one too. So those are some big takeaways I'm noticing. Curious what others think in terms of those takeaways or what they want to add to them. And then Beth, what's coming up for you?
As far as
just main things you want people walking away with.
I'd like people walking away with confidence about health coaching, that it's really something that can help people, and it's not something that you really need a marketer to help you with, specifically that even with coaching, I don't think you need to go hire a marketer or anything special. I think everyone has the power within themselves, you know, to get where they need to go, as long as they know where they're wanting to go. I think it's within each of us to discover and blaze our own trail and just empower ourselves. I wouldn't say I knew anything about marketing. I wouldn't say I knew anything about anything, but when I started, I just knew I wanted to help people. And I knew I wanted to get my life on track. And I'd say authenticity is really key to any sort of coaching practice, and sincerity is very key. And I think if I had to take anything away from any of this, I'd say that that would be the number one thing that I'd want you to take away is you don't need anything magic besides yourself and your own empowerment.
That is phenomenal. That's just awesome. So, you know, good. Beth, we're caught up on everything that's come in the chat box. I think you have an informational slide for how people can reach out to you.
This is my website. It's called inspiredcoaching.us. And I actually named my business because I felt inspired to change my life. And I wanted to inspire other people. So that's a little bit of a hint as to why my business is what it is. And that's my email, my phone number. And you can contact me for a 30-minute session if you'd like to, just because you attended this webinar.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Beth. This is a great conversation. I'm seeing comments in the chat box, people saying thank you. Thank you for sharing your story and your journey. So true value add. Yeah, inspiring, informative. That's awesome. So thank you, Beth. Fabulous conversation.
Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate your time.
Let's see. Yeah, one person shared it's going to help them to determine if this is the direction they want to go. So that's awesome. Another said, thank you and wishing you well in your journey. Thank you for being authentic. So lots of thanks. So fabulous conversation. Definitely appreciate everyone being here. A link will come out to you via email so that you can access this on YouTube. And then in addition to that, I will CC Beth in the email. Everyone on the call is blind copy, and then Beth will be CC, so you'll all see her email as well. And that way, if you want to reach out to her directly via that, you'll have that option. So thank you so much, everybody, and make it a great day. Thanks, Beth.
Thank you. Bye.